Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamaduchyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have a couple of more slokas. We'll finish that. And there was a request from a very dear old friend of mine to chant at least one or two slokas in the singing way. So I'll do it to make him happy. So please remember that Krishna here, as in many parts of the Gita, is talking not as a personality, but as a manifestation of the Supreme, of which we are also manifestations. So the 12th sloka, we said, was Yada Aditya Gatam Tejo Jagad Bhasayate Kilam Yat Chandramasi Yachagno Tat Tejo Vidvimama. That means that light of the sun which illumines the whole universe, which is also in the moon and in the fire likewise, know that splendor to have come from me. Not from a being who has touched the reality, and therefore, according to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, is the only definition of Ishvara. So, next, 13th sloka. Gama Vishaya cha bhutani dharayamyaham pushnami aushadhi sarva somo bhutva rasatmaka. Entering the earth through the spiritual energy of mine, I sustain all beings residing in it, the Absolute. As the watery moon, I nourish all the herbs. There is a theory that the moon has an effect on the herbs, which is true. Some herbs they take for Ayurvedic medicines when the moon is out, and so on. It also has an effect on human beings. That's when imagination runs out of control. People are called lunatics. Luna is moon. The moon also has but there are divine lunatics who think we are mad. So, this is very simple. Entering everything, the herbs as well as everything, it is the same energy that enters into everything. There is, the multiplicity is what you see with your senses. It is the same thing that is everywhere. As one unity. Clear? No. Krishna is saying, as the Supreme Being or the Supreme Energy, I enter into everything. Everything is animated because of that. And therefore, when you see herbs, when you see the sunshine, it is that energy which is shining. That is only a vehicle through which it shines. And it is the same that is in us. Though it's not shining, probably. Require a lot of moisturizers. Then, aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashrita pranapana samayukta pachamyannam chaturvidam. Based, residing in the body of living beings, I, as consciousness, manifest as the digestive fire, Vaishvanara. See, I said fire is a symbol of energy. And the digestion is some kind of a combustion that's going on. The catabolic and the anabolic reactions, which together form what? Metabolism. There is a heat generated for this. You can't do any digestion without some combustion. And therefore that fire that helps us to digest the food is called the Vaishvanara fire. We might think that we do a lot of things. Unfortunately, we don't. We eat food, yeah. And then what? Do we digest the food? Do we do it? Yes. That is the Vaishvanara fire. The fire of digestion that digests the food. The enzymes, everything. And the peristaltic action of the esophagus. If that is lost, you cannot bring it back. We can put food into your mouth. But if your jaw is not working, you can't even chew it. We think we are doing everything. Even when you can chew and when this action is on, the food goes in and then you do nothing about it. There's something that is churning it, digesting it, dividing it into what is required, and throwing what is not required out. Only when, at the time when it has to be thrown out, we have a compulsion to throw it. That's it. Right? So what are we doing actually? Anyway, so based in the body of living beings, I as the consciousness manifests as the digestive fire, and in combination with the vital energies known as prana and apana, the upper going and the down going breath, digest the 4 kinds of food taken by people. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirjnanam apovanam cha vedescha sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta kritve davide vachaham. I abide in the hearts of all beings as the Antaryami. From me arise remembrance and knowledge of the spiritual verity as also their effacement. The original teacher of the Vedanta I am, and also the knower of the Vedas. There is a concept also in Sankhya that there is a pure Ishvara who is a perfected being since the beginning of time. Not one who sits in the workshops and makes each individual being tapping, screwing. No. There is a consciousness which is pure. And that consciousness sends out a few rays to go and get embodied. And this is the Ishvara. And after embodiment, it remains in each heart, heart meaning the core of one's consciousness as divinity directing things. Now, it's also responsible for knowledge because we cannot have knowledge unless there is a witness to knowledge. We cannot have memory unless the brain has those parts which store the memory. We also cannot walk on, live on in this world with all the memories we have. It's a burden. Can you imagine? From birth till now, you have all the memories of all the things that happen, good and bad. It's become such a burden. So he says, I am also the one who effaces memories, rubs them off so that I can move forward. If I hang on to old memories, how will I move forward? I think there are several people in the world who live only on memories. Oh, that was such a nice time. Make the nice time now, it's inside you. So, not only making memory, but also effacing the memory where required. That's also the job. That's also my job, says Krishna. Dvavimo purusho loke charascha aksharaye vacha charas sarvani bhutani kutasto chara uchyate. He says, even though you think there is only one reality, which is true in the ultimate sense of the term, actually there are 2 Purushas. You say, how is this possible? 2 Purushas. Okay. One is the Chara, or the perishable, and the other is the Akshara, the imperishable. Which means what? All the jivas and everything that you see in this world is also Purusha. But it is a perishable Purusha, because they can't survive without self-awareness. Purusha is self-awareness. So this self-awareness that we have is perishable, because when I go, my individual self-awareness is gone. And when I distinguish between, I forgot the tea, cup of tea and the cup and me, you think this is also just material, but it is not. It also is pervaded by consciousness. How? Scientists will tell you that there is a lot of activity going on here. You might think there is nothing. And this will also get destroyed in the end. Right? So, both the visible world and the inner witness are Purusha. Not two one, but in two modifications. So the outside world is also Purusha. The inner witness is also Purusha. That which is witness is the imperishable, Akshara. And that which is outside is the perishable manifestation of Purusha. All they are trying to say is that there is nothing called pure material, everything is consciousness. There is no dividing line. We see a dividing line, of course. But that dividing line ceases to exist in the highest of spiritual experience called Kaivalya in yoga, Moksha in Vedanta, and Shunya, Nirvana in the Buddhist literature. Then Krishna says, but uttama purushastanya paramatme turyahrita yo logatrayama vishya bhivartavya ishvara. But there is one Purusha known as the Supreme Being or Purushottama, which is the most subtle of all things that are in existence, that pervades all the three worlds and sustains them. So apart from the manifestation as this world Purusha, which is perishable, and that witness Purusha, which is imperishable, there is one stage when the mind becomes so clear that there is one Purusha who is neither perishable nor imperishable, who cannot be defined by our ordinary words or ordinary way of thinking. And that, he says, is the Supreme Self, and which is me. And I can also say which is me, you can also say. When you find it, not before. Yasmat charamati-toham aksharata pichottama atosmi loke vede cha pratita purushottama. As I transcend the perishable and also I am superior to the imperishable, I am well known as the Purushottama, the Supreme Being, in all the Vedic literature. Yo mam evam sammudho, no, not sammudho, yo mam eva asammudho, janadi purushottamam, sassarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. So, O Arjuna, he who knows me as the Purushottama, he understands the true nature of this totality of the universe, and therefore he loves only the inner consciousness, which is his whole being. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya, the great Rishi, says to Maitri, his wife, when the husband loves the wife, he is actually loving the Purusha. He thinks he is loving his wife. And when the wife loves the husband, it is actually the inner Purusha that is loved, not what you see outside. So Krishna says, he who knows me in this way as the Purushottama. Now again he is talking as from the ultimate point of view, not as sitting there as a driver. He understands the true nature of this totality and he adores me with his whole being. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam muktam maya naga etad buddhva buddhiman syat krita krityascha bharata. Now, Arjuna, after hearing all this, is a little bit demoralized. Feels, what is all this Supreme Being, God? So Krishna calls him, saying, I am such a sinner, how can I touch that? So he calls him Anagha, oh sinless one. When he feels weak, he calls him Mahabaho, oh one with mighty arms. Now he calls him, oh sinless one. Actually, in essence, there is no sin. Everybody is that. Oh sinless one, this spiritual doctrine, the most profound of all in the sacred lore, has now been revealed to you. A true understanding of it makes one really wise and established in the sense of total fullness. Om iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottama Yogo Nama Panchadashodhyaya. Finished. 20 verses. So, on request, I will sing a few slokas and stop.
Why is the 15th chapter chanted by
Because
only
before eating, you have to remember that all the digestive fire and the digestion and everything is not under your control. Done by somebody else. I mean, something. In essence, yourself, true self. But in other part, there is a beautiful sloka which is also chanted sometimes. It's very short. It's very interesting. It's Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahma Agno, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gandhavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. That means Brahma Arpanam, that which is given as sacrifice, is also Brahman. Brahma Havir, that which is sacrificing is also Brahman. Brahma Agno, the fire is also Brahman. Brahmana Hutam, what is offered is also Brahman. Brahmaiva Tena Gandhavyam, whatever you put into it is Brahman. Brahma Karma Samadhina, even the act of eating is Brahman. If a person has that kind of view, every action becomes. So, Om Shri Paramatmane Namah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Urdhvamulamata shakam ashvattham prahuravuyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda sa vedavid adashturdhvam prasutastasya shakha guna pravrdha vishaya pravala adascha mulan anusantatani karmanubandhini manushya loke narupamasyeha tadopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampradishta ashvattamenam suvirodamulam asanga shastrena dridhena chitta tadapadam tatparimargitavyam yasmin gathana nivartanti bhuya tvameva chadyam purusham pravati yatha pravritti prasuta puranina.